I already love same-day delivery with Shipt, but it's so much better since I signed up for Target's Circle 360. Why? Because I no longer pay price markups from the majority of stores through Shipt. Only a handful of alcohol retailers and items don't count. That means no markups on groceries, pet food, even home goods and makeup. So to recap, I have more time to catch up on life while someone shops for me, and I spend less. It's a win-win. Order now at shipt.com/360. Terms apply.
Hi, Unpacked listeners. It's your host, Aislinn Green. If you listened to our September 12th episode, you know that Afar is celebrating its 15-year anniversary this year. I've been with the company for 10 of those years, and I love that Afar has always been rooted in the power of experiential travel. As we reflect on the past 15 years of Afar, we're celebrating our legacy and our commitment to making travel a force for good. So, for the next 4 months, we're dipping into the archives of our other podcast, Travel Tales, which celebrates the life-changing power of travel. Many of the episodes you'll hear started out as a story in the print magazine, which we still do publish. Stories like this episode from Afar contributing writer Ryan Knighton. Ryan now writes for TV shows like Billions, but he's been a key part of our team since the beginning. Ryan lost his sight as a young man, but he never lost his sense of adventure or his sense of humor. He's done many stories for us over the years, and one of my favorites is the one you're about to hear. In 2016, we sent him on safari in Zimbabwe, possibly one of the most visual experiences in the world. And there, he discovered a side of the safari experience that very few know.
My wife and I had only been in Zimbabwe on safari for a few hours as our Land Cruiser nosed through the bush and cicadas buzzed overhead like power lines. Our guide, Alan, had already spotted several fleeting species of antelope, and I was already getting concerned that as a blind man, this was going to kind of suck. I mean, I might as well be at a drive-in movie. Close your eyes. Hey, over there is a kudu. Whatever a kudu is. Welcome to a blind safari. Our driver, Dharmesh, pulled over, and Alan suggested in his lovely baritone that we get out and stretch our legs and have a drink, or what he called a sundowner. Off in the distance, a giraffe was slipping into the trees, and Alan began his work describing the animal and its place in the ecosystem of this, the Malilangwe Game Reserve. How a blind man such as myself could be connected to the unseen sights of an unseen place would be Alan's challenge for the next few days. Me, I wanted to explore what a safari could reveal to the remaining spectrum of my senses. Well, so far I'd nursed a beer and I'd heard a rumor of a giraffe. Suddenly, Alan's hand clamped down on my shoulder, communicating everything in a grip. Adrenaline shot through me. We were surrounded by bush and shadow and something else. Something not so giraffe. Alan's hand pivoted me, aiming my attention like a satellite dish. Elephant, he whispered. 25 meters away. I strained to hear it. To hear anything, really. Was it moving? Had it seen us? Alan's hand squeezed my shoulder. Then again, and again and again, imitating the steps of the animal. 15 meters away, he whispered. I didn't know where our Land Cruiser was or how far we were from its safety. Alan's hand assured me that everything was fine, but his constant grip implied that everything could change in an instant. 10 meters. Finally, the faintest sound. The plodding of a 6-ton bull. An elephant's unstructured feet expand with every step, making a dispirited squish, like spiking a semi-deflated football. Now I knew how something so large could glide so quietly through the forest. Squish, squish, it lumbered towards us, deciding whether to charge. Then, squish, squish, it shuffled off into the forest and was gone. An odor followed. I could smell wet earth. Alan would later explain to me that I had smelled the elephant's method of cooling and hygiene. Mud retains moisture, so elephants paint themselves in it to stay cool. When it dries, they scrape themselves against leadwood and baobab trees to remove the hardened earth and any parasites from their skin. Basically, it's an elephant waxing. Now, I hadn't seen one, but I'd already smelled and heard my way into some of the marvelous biology around us. Singita's Pashamusa Lodge is a stunning nest of thatched villas perched atop the sandstone cliffs of Malilangwe Lake. Most animals are out early in search of water before the day's heat can stamp every living thing into lethargy, so the aspiration is to be on safari by dawn. We had barely descended the cliffs, and we were nearing a pond when Alan flagged Dharmesh to pull over. He got out and disappeared into the forest, as if he was popping into a convenience store, not an ecosystem that could hide a lion. "Here," he said when he returned. "Chew these." I didn't know what these were, but I put leafy bits into my face and began to chew, being the ever-compliant Canadian that I am. Instantly, my tongue went dry. Like, ridiculously dry. "That's from all the tannins," Alan explained. "You're chewing on the leaf of the mapani tree. Most animals can't digest it, and now you know why. But elephants can, and they need a food source with little competition, given how large they are." More than a botany lesson under the sun, I was glimpsing a way of guiding that used an animal's sensory experience as a point of entry. Leaves are food, so Alan had us engage them by taste. Most guides would point to the distance and label sites with facts and names like captions. "Over there is mapani, elephants eat those. That's acacia, giraffes dig those." But that wasn't Alan's style. He wanted us to literally experience the ecology around us as an evolving system of tastes and survival. Soon 2 white rhinos appeared, a mother and a calf. I could hear them snorting and stamping in the mud, all of it just a few feet from us. But something was troubling the water off to the right as well. "Uh-oh," Dharmesh said, and I felt this familiar tingle in my spine. It's the tension that precedes violence. 3 hyenas were stalking the rhinos as they continued to drink, completely unfazed. Most people go on safari with a desire above all else to photograph a lion. If you ask Alan, though, this is the least interesting pursuit. Lions sleep a lot. Lions basically are photographs. Me, I'm not so into photographs. But as I listened to those hyenas drink, I realized how much I wanted to hear one of them laugh. If I could, it would be kind of like a trophy of sound I could take home. But the hyenas didn't give up a peep. They just finished drinking, and then they darted off into the hills. But not before the largest one dropped the nastiest, most eye-burning carnivore fart ever blown into the face of a blind man. It's as if she knew I wanted to hear her laugh, and instead mocked me by obliterating my sense of smell. When you're a blind man strapped to the chair of a tractor seat on the grill of a Land Cruiser, you feel as if you're floating through the air, because you are. You also feel like a hunk of bait, because you are. Within a few days under Alan's tutelage, I could flag for Dharmesh to stop if I smelled something disrupting the umbrella trees around us. A thin marbling in the air, something sour and sweaty like a horse. Moments later, maybe 50 yards away, a giraffe would appear. But I didn't catch a whiff of anything. The afternoon, Dharmesh suddenly locked up the brakes, and Alan's hand shot through the open windshield of the Land Cruiser and clamped down on my shoulder on that tracker's seat. "Don't move," he said. "Black rhino." Quick movements can startle rhinos into a charge. Black rhinos, in particular, are nervous and prone to fight. Quickly, Alan began to whistle, small and unthreatening like a little bird, just to let it know that we were here. It turns out black rhinos are nearly blind, and irony is abundant in the bush. Still, the rhino charged at me, and then it stopped. And then I heard it charge again, and it stopped. Then the rhino and I faced each other and hid in our respective silences until it went off into the forest and it was gone. And I retired my experiment as a tracker. On our last day, a call came over the radio. 5 hyenas had been spotted in a watering pan about a half-hour's drive from where we were. By the time we got there, they were still in the water with the leg of what Alan said looked like a hartebeest. But squaring off at the pan's edge was a pack of wild African hunting dogs, about 20 of them, although the species is nearly extinct. They were closing in either to take the hyena's kill or to pick a fight. The air smelled of blood. Hundreds of tiny birds called quelea tornadoed above us in a humming swarm. There was a hot wind in my face, and it came from their wings. Then I heard it. The nervous laugh of a hyena. It sounded like the forced chuckle of an old man after a bad joke. Suddenly there was an explosion of water as the dogs attacked and rushed into the pond, gnashing at the heels of the hyenas, mobbing, circling, confusing them from every angle. The cries of the wild African hunting dog are probably the strangest sound I've ever heard, like a chorus of computerized twittering birds. Vicious, they bit the hyenas. The hyenas bit back and laughed, or wounded, squealed like pigs in slaughter. On and on it went for hours. What else should you do but listen? Given the near extinction of those dogs, that hyena fight might have been the only sound of its kind made on the entire planet that day. And I can still hear it.
Thanks for listening to our celebration of 15 years of Afar. We have so much more to share. To dive in, visit afar.com/15. The link is in the show notes as well. You'll also find links to all of Ryan's stories for Afar, as well as his social media handles. We'll be back on September 24th with another celebration episode, this one featuring comedian Negin Farsad. Ready for more unpacking? Visit afar.com and be sure to follow us on Instagram and X. We are at Afar Media. If you enjoyed today's exploration, I hope you'll come back for more great stories. Subscribing always makes that easy. And be sure to rate and review the show on your favorite podcast platforms. It helps other travelers find it. And if you ever want to ask a question or suggest a topic for coverage, you can reach out to us at afar.com/feedback or email us at unpacked@afar.com. This has been Unpacked, a production of Afar Media. The podcast is produced by Aislinn Green and Nikki Galteland. Music composition by Chris Collin. And remember, the world is complicated. We're here to help you unpack it.